Something big is happening in Kansas. I'll tell you what, we just came back from our bus tour of the entire state. We touched all 4 state borders, and then we made a second loop around. And I want to tell you something. If you want to get to know your family well and your team well, you put them on a bus for 3 weeks. I couldn't be more proud of my team, the people who've gotten involved. And I look out around the crowd today, and it's really kind of like what it's been going around the state these last few weeks. Everywhere we go across the state, we see our old friends, and we meet new friends. And I look across every crowd, and it just keeps growing. And I keep seeing everywhere we go some of the same faces I'm so proud to call them my friends. And I see new friends, I see new people that I know are going to be friends, and I just thank you guys so much for being here today. Now, I do have one message for Barack Obama. You guys know, of course, that Barack Obama and I are cousins. And you know what he said about us when he was campaigning for the presidency in 2008? He said that we were just a bunch of bitter clingers. We bitterly cling to our God and our guns and our hatred towards others. Well, I just want you to know, not everybody in the family thinks that way. As for me, I love the Lord our God. My firearm of choice is the Ruger SR 556, and I have hatred towards no man, only towards bad government that is destroying our freedom and our future. You know, it's kind of an interesting thing that Barack Obama and I are cousins. You know, you cannot choose your family. What you can do is you can choose to rise up and stop your family from destroying America.
Here.
Hey, by the way, you know that's true. You know you can't choose your family. You know there's somebody in your family right now you would not have chosen. And if you can't think who that person is, you may be the person they would not have chosen. Look, it's nothing personal with Barack Obama, but I think he's the worst president in our lifetime, and I think he's the worst president in American history. And I'm running for the United States Senate to put a stop to his lawless and failed administration. Now, I think most of you know these things about me, but they're so important, I'm going to repeat them if you've heard me say them before. Because I want you to know some things that are deep in my heart. Frankly, I don't even think these are political issues. It's just who I am. It's in my DNA. It's in my bones. Number one, I am pro-life, and I will never apologize for being pro-life. Carrie and I were teenage parents, and that was the biggest challenge of our lives. People talk about this campaign being a challenge. No, be a teenage parent, there's a challenge. But it was also the biggest blessing of our lives, until God repeated that blessing 3 years later. And we celebrated our 23rd wedding anniversary together with our 2 children who were blessings from God. We will never apologize for being pro-life. We believe every baby deserves to be loved, and we believe every life matters. I believe your right to self-defense is God-given. And that means man cannot take it away from you. I believe the Second Amendment means what it says. But actually, I believe your rights are even stronger because they were given to you by God, not by man. Carrie and I are both life members of the NRA. We both have our concealed carry licenses. It embarrasses me a little bit to tell you this because I grew up in Lyons, in central Kansas, where... there we go! Where, pretty much everybody had a 12 gauge, and it was not a problem to put that in your gun rack in the back window of your pickup truck and go to high school. Carrie grew up here in Overland Park, and when we go out shooting, it embarrasses me a little bit to tell you this, but it's true, she usually outshoots me a little. I remind people, it is not Texas you need to worry about. Don't mess with Carrie. I believe in hard work. I believe God put us on this planet to serve each other, and we do that by working hard. The Wolf family is actually a dairy farming family. You know, I've plowed that land, and I've planted that seed, and I've cut it, and I've raked it, I've baled it, I've stacked it, I've thrown it, I've forked it, I've fed it, which means later I have shoveled it. And there you go. I I know a thing or two about hard work, and I'm going to go to Washington to work hard. I'm not going there to change out some nameplate on a door somewhere. I'm going there because our country's in trouble. Our republic is at stake right now, and every single one of us needs to step up and start acting like the sovereign American citizens we were meant to be. We are not subjects of a permanent ruling class. We are the sovereign citizens of America. When Benjamin Franklin walked into that Constitutional Convention, a woman stopped him and said, "Mr. Franklin, what kind of government are you going to give us?" And he said, "A republic, so long as you can keep it." And that's the question, isn't it? Can we keep it? You know, I'll tell you something. I've been a Republican all my life, and I've been loyal to our party. But I believe the problem is our party has not always been loyal to our principles. And that's why I'm running. You know, the people in Washington, they keep telling us we just need to keep sending the same people back to Washington year after year, decade after decade. But we know it's not true. Now, I want to tell you something. I could tell you every reason not to vote for Pat Roberts in the world, but I'm not going to do it tonight. Quite frankly, I'm tired of talking about Pat Roberts. And I'm not running this race because of Pat Roberts. Look, here's the reality. Pat Roberts looked you all in the eye, and he made a promise to you, and he broke it. He promised he would give you a debate. He didn't promise he'd give me one. I don't care what he thinks about me, but it tells me what he thinks about you. When he said he would debate, he would stand before you and answer the difficult questions, and he broke his word. And I'll tell you why I think he broke his word. I think if Pat Roberts could tell you his achievements after 47 years in Washington, I think he would debate me. I think if Pat Roberts could name a single policy that he thinks I have wrong, I think he'd debate me. And I think if Pat Roberts could substantiate the false allegations, the personal attacks, if he could explain why he wants to run an entire campaign based on personal negative ads and personal attacks, I think he'd debate me. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of negative politics. I'm tired of attack ads. And the only way we will end the attack ads is to end the career of the attack politicians. Good news for you. Something big is happening in Kansas. There have been precious few times in American history where anyone has achieved what we are about to achieve tomorrow. There have been precious few times where somebody has stepped up and stepped against the will of their own party and taken out an incumbent senator, because we know it's time to end this era of the career politicians. And it's time that we step up as citizen legislators, as sovereign American citizens. Something big is happening in Kansas. You know, when we launched this campaign in October 2013, and I look around and I see a number of the faces who were there that night, and I said something that night I'm going to repeat right now, and I'll say it again tomorrow after we celebrate our victory. It's an important message for three people in particular. And my message tonight goes out to Senators Ted Cruz and Mike Lee and Rand Paul. And my message is your Kansas reinforcements are on the way.
Yeehaw!
Before we started our statewide bus tour, Pat Roberts was leading in the polls. Public polls were showing at about 33 points. And we knew all along that was a function of name recognition. The guy's been in Washington forever, everybody knows him. And it took us time. It took a lot of work. You know, you can work months and months and months to become an overnight success. But we met everybody we could, anybody who'd listen all across the state. We started our bus tour, we started going up with our message on television. And within just a few days, we took his lead from 33 points down to 12 points. And we saw him quiver in his boots. And then our message kept resonating. We took that down to single digits, down to 9 points. And I believe today we're in a dead heat going into this election. And I believe we will win. But I'll say it again, I'm not running for this office because of Pat Roberts. I'm going to complete my campaign the same way I began it. I'm going to ask everyone assembled to give him a round of applause to respect him for his service to our state and to our nation. As those of you who followed us from the beginning know that I have never said a single personal disparaging word about Pat Roberts, and I'm not going to begin tonight. I think this campaign is so much bigger than Pat Roberts. I think this campaign is about the survival of America. We have a president in that White House who believes himself to be a dictator, who can run our nation with a pen and with a phone, and we better stand up to him if we're going to save our republic. We've got a lot of work to do, but we can do it. You know, I was fortunate. Growing up in Lyons, I think God smiled upon me. In fact, I think I won the lottery of life when God chose my parents for me. And I think also, I won the lottery of life of having my formative years be the Reagan years. The greatest president in our lifetime. He showed us a pathway. He showed us what we can do. He showed us that if we stand up and we believe in ourselves, if we believe in our rugged individualism, if we believe in individual liberty, of constitutionally limited government and free market values, then we can prosper. And fortunately, we've had a few leaders who have come along since him. You know, like Senators Ted Cruz and Mike Lee and Rand Paul. And we've got to find more leaders like this. We've got to find citizen legislators. We've got to find people who've actually done something with their lives, rather than just be politicians their entire lives. You know, one of the things I love about Ted Cruz and Mike Lee and Rand Paul, not one of them served in an elected office before they went to the United States Senate. I think that's a feature, not a bug. No party boss put them in that Senate, and no party boss can take them out. When I get to that United States Senate, no party boss will be able to tell me what to do. I will say no to Harry Reid, but I will also say no to Mitch McConnell or anyone else who wants me to act like a Democrat. I'm going to tell you something. I'm tired of losing to Democrats, but I'm even more tired of Republicans who act like Democrats. It's time we act like the party of Ronald Reagan. So I look out among you and I see so many friends, old and new. And I can't thank you guys enough for being here. I know you're not here for me. I know you're here for this movement. And that's why I'm here. You know, I really don't want a career in politics. I'd rather practice medicine than politics. I don't need this. I've got a successful medical practice. Carrie and I are in a great place in our lives. We're recently empty nesters. If there's ever a great time in your life, it's being an empty nester. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
I see some parents out here with young kids, and trust me, your day's coming. But you know what? We've all got to step up. When Benjamin Franklin said to that woman, "A republic, so long as you can keep it," he did not say, "A republic, so long as your political leaders can keep it." He did not say, "A republic, so long as your king can keep it, so long as your betters can keep it." He said, "A republic, so long as you can keep it." And I think he's talking to all of us. I think he's talking to me, and I think he's talking to you. And that's the question, isn't it? Can we keep this republic? Well, I believe we can. I'm optimistic, and I believe America can still be saved. I believe what's wrong with America can be cured by what's right with America. And what's right with America is our Constitution. And it's our American idea itself of individual liberty, of limited government, and free market values. That's why I'm running. I'm going to do something I haven't done before, and I'll probably embarrass them a little bit, but I'd really love it if Carrie and Jeremy and Taylor would come up. You know, throughout the course of this campaign, Carrie and Jeremy and Taylor have just worked absolutely tirelessly and have just been absolute champions of this cause. And they know what I know. You know, nobody's here today. No, come around here. Nobody's here today because of me, and I would never ask you to take a stand for me. I will ask you to stand up for the Constitution. And I'll ask you to stand up for that American idea itself, because I know if you do that, I know we'll be standing together. I know we will fight. And I know we will prevail. And so I thank you all for being here. And I really want to say thank you, and I hope you guys will say thank you for me for Carrie and Jeremy and Taylor, who've been just absolute champions of our campaign. we've got a lot of work to do. You know, you saw, just like Lori had said, if you can help us out, we're going to ask you to help us out. I'm asking for your vote, but I'm asking for something so much more than your vote. I'm asking for your help. I'm asking you if you can contribute, do so. $5 moves this campaign forward. $5,000 makes the campaign move forward. I'm asking you to volunteer your time. And I'm looking out among some people who've been just absolute champions of volunteering their time and standing up not just for this campaign, but for this country. And I'm asking you to do that. We've got a few hours left. I'm asking you to vote for me, but I'm also asking you to get 500 of your closest friends and get them to come out and vote for me too. We're going to sprint to this finish line. If you can tomorrow, then get involved, get with somebody. I'd say get to somebody in a t-shirt with the Wolf name on it, but by now half the people coming out to our events are wearing Wolf t-shirts. You find somebody with a Wolf t-shirt, if you don't know how to get involved, they'll get you pointed out to somebody who'll get you involved. And I just want to leave this with you. I have the strong conviction that the mind can only endure, our mind can only absorb what the seat can endure. And those of you sitting, I don't want you to have to sit too long. But really, I'd really rather get off the stage and just come down and spend a great evening with you guys, because I think we're on the eve of a victory. I think we're going to win tomorrow.
Amen.
And I just want to leave this with you. You know, it really is an amazing thing, just by lottery of birth, that Barack Obama and I happen to be cousins. And believe me, he didn't choose it any more than I did. Well, I talked to a historian who told me, he said, you know, there's never been anything like this in American history. We've had family dynasties from the beginning of our nation until now, from the Adams family all the way up to the Clintons, the Bushes, the Kennedys. But he said, you know what, there's never been a family rivalry in national politics in American history. And now we're looking at one. And the thing is, you two are so diametrically opposed. There's nothing that Barack Obama says or does that you agree with. And I said, yeah, that's true. He said, now we're looking at a family rivalry between the President of the United States and a Senator of the United States. And I thought about this for a minute. And I said, well, so be it. When I go to Washington, I will launch the mother of all family feuds to save America.
Yeehaw!
So listen, really what I want to tell you guys tonight is thank you. You've taken us to the finish line, and we're about to cross. I believe we're about to win this thing, which is an amazing thing to say. You know, from the beginning when nobody gave it a chance, but there were some believers in liberty, and that tiny flame of liberty kept flickering. It just couldn't be put out. And that's what this is about. Look, we're going to save this republic because we're going to fight. And we're going to stand up, and we're going to be the sovereign American citizens we were meant to be. We're no longer going to be subjects of a permanent ruling class. It starts with us. It starts with our friends and our family. Tomorrow we're going to get them out to vote. And tomorrow I hope you'll join us. The doors will open at 6 o'clock at the Sheridan, at the Overland Park Convention Center. And I believe we're going to pack the house with people who are going to come out to celebrate a great American victory. So I thank you guys for being here. God bless you. And through your works, may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.